Welcome to Analyze It. In this tutorial, we are going to see what is a parity test, how to conduct a parity test in Excel, and finally, how to interpret a parity test results. What is a parity test? A parity test is a method used to test whether the mean difference between pairs of measurements is zero or not. The test is generally used when your data value are period measurements. For example, you can use this test when you have before and after measurement for a group of people. Imagine that you're working for a project that supports farmers and that you have collected the income at the beginning of the project for each farmers as well as the income for each of your farmers at the end of the project. You can also calculate the differences, and for each of the income you can calculate the mean. Here you can see the start income is very close to the end income. So you may ask yourself a question, and the question that you may ask yourself is the mean start income statistically equal to the mean income at the end of the project? And for that, you can set a series of hypotheses. The first hypothesis, which is the null hypothesis, is that the start income is equal to the end income, meaning the difference is zero. The alternative hypothesis is that the start income is not equal to the end income, meaning the difference between the two income is not zero. But for such a test, you need to make some assumption around the difference. And the assumption that you need to make is that the difference between the two incomes is normally distributed, meaning you have a shape bell distribution. Now that you know what is a parity test and how to set the hypothesis, let's go back to our computer and open Excel to run a parity test. Okay, now I am in my Excel and I have my data set. You can see in column A, I have farmers. In column B, I have the income at the beginning of my project. And in column C, I have the income at the end of my project. To open the function that allows you to do a parity test, you will go to data. And then from data, you will look for data analysis. By default, Excel doesn't provide this option of data analysis, so you have to add it as an add-ins. If you don't know how to do it, I would recommend you to take a look at a previous video where I am explaining how to add the data analysis tool pack. Once you click on the data analysis tool pack, a new window for the data analysis will be open, and from this you will be looking for the t-test period to sample forming. You click on it and you click OK. Once you click OK, a new window is open, and this is where you're going to enter the parameter, the input, and for your parity test. So the variable one range, you will select this start income. So you will I click here, and then I select the range. So I will select all the value in column B. As you can see, I'm selecting all the value in column B, and I pick the arrow here to validate it. Now I need to choose the second variable, which is the end income, and I will do the same. Click here, and I select all the value. And then I click the arrow here to enter the information. In this part here, hypothesized mean difference, you enter 0. And what does that mean? You will typically enter 0, and this is the value for the null hypothesis, which represent no effect. In my case, a mean difference of 0 represents no difference between the two period. meaning that the beginning of my project and the end period, which means no effect. So because my null hypothesis, I'm saying that the start income and the end income, there is no difference. So I put 0. And one of the important, probably the most important parameter in doing a paired sample t-test is the alpha. Typically, and by default, Excel will choose 0.05, and the alpha is the significance level. You can change it, but 0.05 is usually a good value. All right, so now that you have entered the parameter and the range for your parity test, you need to tell Excel where you want to show, where you want to have the output of the test. So I will click, I would like to put it next to my table here, or you can also put it in another table, but here for this tutorial, I'm putting it next to my table. So I click output range, and I do the same. I'll go here and I will select the place where I want to have the output of my t-test. I will select a bunch of cells, at least 2 columns, and at least I like to put 6 because I don't remember exactly how many parameters it will be in for me. And then I do the same, click. And once I'm finishing putting the input and the output option, I click OK. And Excel will provide you the output. So here is the result of my parity test. So I can increase the cell so you can see it. All right, so this is the result of my t-test. So now let's see how to interpret this table. So this is the result that we obtain from Excel doing the t-test. And the first information we get is the mean of our first variable, which is the income at the beginning of the project. And in the same row, Excel has provided us the mean for the second variable, which is the income at the end of the project. We can see that numerically they are really, really close. And the hypothesis that we wanted to test is that the start of income and the end of income are statistically equal. This is the hypothesis that we wanted to test. And the rule of thumb for testing such an hypothesis is that if the p-value is less than the significant level of 0.05, then we reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, we accept it. So looking at the p-value two-tails, because we are testing the equality of mean, we can see that, for example, the p-value is equal as 0.46, which is higher than the level of significance of 0.5. Therefore, we accept the null hypothesis of equal mean of income. Therefore, we did not have any impact of in our project between the start and the end of our project. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by pressing the subscribe button below to get notification on when I'm releasing new video. Take care.